A freed slave stands at the edge of a continent with an ocean at his back and a kingdom in front of him. How he got there is one of the more improbable stories of the medieval world. In the spring of 711, a fleet of ships crosses a narrow strait between two continents, 9 miles wide at its narrowest point. To the south, the coast of North Africa. To the north, the southern edge of the Iberian Peninsula and the failing kingdom of the Visigoths. The ships carry roughly 7,000 men. Most of them are Berbers from the Maghreb. Their commander is the freed slave. He has risen through the Umayyad military system on capability alone, and now he leads an expeditionary force into Europe. His name is Tariq ibn Ziyad. Within 3 months, the Visigothic kingdom will no longer exist. Within 7 years, the Muslim armies will reach the foothills of the Pyrenees. The peninsula they cross into will carry a new name for the next 8 centuries: Al-Andalus. This is how it began. By 710, the Umayyad Caliphate stretches from the Indus River in the east to the Atlantic coast of Morocco in the west. The western frontier is governed by Musa ibn Nusayr, the Umayyad governor of Ifriqiya. He has spent years subduing the Berber tribes of North Africa and forging them into soldiers. They are now the bulk of his fighting strength. They are not conscripts, they are converts who chose this path. Across the strait, the Visigothic kingdom is coming apart from the inside. Its king, Witiza, has died. His sons are pushed aside. A nobleman named Roderick takes the throne by force. The kingdom splits into factions. The losing side begins looking across the water for help. One of those factions reaches a man named Julian. Julian is a Visigothic count who governs the city of Ceuta on the African coast directly opposite Gibraltar. He has his own grievance against Roderick. The accounts differ on what it was. The result does not. Julian offers his ships. He offers the route. He offers a guide. Musa ibn Nusayr listens. Musa does not commit the army. He is a general, not a gambler. In 710, a small force under a commander named Tariq crosses the strait, lands on the southern Iberian coast, raids, and returns with intelligence and captives. The crossing is feasible. The defenses are thin. The reports are clear. Then Musa writes to Damascus. The Caliph is Al-Walid ibn Abd al-Malik. The letter reaches him asking for permission to launch a full expedition into the Visigothic kingdom. The Caliph hesitates. Crossing into Europe is a step the Caliphate has not yet taken. The risks are unknown. If the army is lost, there is no recovery across 9 miles of open water. The permission comes back qualified. Send a small force first. Test the ground. Do not commit the army. Musa chooses Tariq ibn Ziyad to lead it. Consider who Tariq is at this moment. A Berber, a freedman, a man who was once owned. He has worked through the military ranks not on bloodline or wealth, but on performance. His men follow him because of what he has shown them, not because of who his father was. That distinction will matter at the river. 7,000 men, almost entirely Berber. Julian's ships, Julian's route. The decision is made. The fleet crosses in April or May of 711. The exact date is uncertain. The ships move at night to avoid Visigothic patrols. They land near a mountain on the southern coast, a stone outcrop that rises straight from the water. The mountain takes the name of the men who landed there. Jabal Tariq, the mountain of Tariq. In Spanish, it becomes Gibraltar. The army comes ashore in stages. 7,000 men, horses, provisions, weapons. The crossing is methodical. The Visigoths do not contest the landing. Word has not reached Roderick, who is hundreds of miles to the north dealing with the Basque revolt. There is a story, often repeated, that Tariq orders the ships burned after the landing. that his men ask how they will return to Africa if the battle goes badly, that he answers,
"We did not come here to return."
According to later Muslim tradition, Tariq gathered his men after the landing and declared,
"The sea is behind you and the enemy is before you."
Whether he actually spoke those words, no historian can say, but for centuries they have embodied the spirit of the campaign. The story is almost certainly later invention. The Arabic sources closest to the event do not mention it. The ships are needed for resupply and reinforcement, and they are used again over the following months. But the truth underneath the legend holds. The army that lands at Gibraltar in 711 is committed. The strait is at its back. The kingdom of the Visigoths is in front of it. The enemy is mobilizing. The only direction is forward. Roderick receives word of the landing and turns his army south. He brings a substantially larger force. The numbers in the chronicles are unreliable, almost certainly inflated. What is clear is that the Visigothic king does not take a small raiding party seriously enough. Tariq does not retreat. He moves inland to meet him. The two armies make contact in July of 711, near a river in the south of the peninsula. The river is the Guadalete. The battle takes its name from the water. The Visigothic army carries a structural weakness Tariq exploits. The faction that opposed Roderick is in his own ranks, fighting under his banner, loyal to no one but themselves. When the fighting begins, sections of the Visigothic army hold back. Others turn. The wings collapse. The center holds for a time. Roderick disappears in the fighting. His body is never recovered from the field. The Visigothic kingdom does not have a second army. It has a capital at Toledo, hundreds of miles to the north. It has fortified cities. It has noble families with private soldiers. But the one force that could have driven Tariq back into the sea has been destroyed in a single afternoon on the banks of the Guadalete. The door is open. What follows Guadalete is not a slow campaign. It is a collapse. Tariq divides his force and sends columns toward the major cities of the south. Córdoba falls, Granada falls, Malaga falls. The garrisons that remain are small, demoralized, and aware that the kingdom's only real army no longer exists. Tariq himself takes the road north to Toledo. The Visigothic capital surrenders without significant resistance. Some accounts say the Jewish population of the city, long persecuted under Visigothic rule, opens the gates before Tariq's force arrives. Others say the defenders abandon it. The accounts differ. The result does not. By the autumn of 711, Tariq holds the heart of the kingdom. News reaches Musa ibn Nusayr in Ifriqiya. The expedition he authorized as a probe has, in a matter of months, captured the capital of a major European kingdom. Musa crosses the strait himself in 712 with a second army. He is not pleased. Tariq has moved faster and farther than the orders permitted. The two commanders meet in Toledo. The accounts of that meeting are uncomfortable. There is a reckoning between the man who gave the orders and the man who exceeded them. The Visigothic kingdom does not survive 711. What remains of its nobility and its army retreats north into the mountains of Asturias. From there, decades later, a small Christian kingdom reforms under a leader named Pelayo. That kingdom becomes the seed of what, 800 years later, will be the Reconquista. In the immediate aftermath of Guadalete, that future is invisible. The Umayyad armies continue north and east through 712 and 713. Saragossa falls, Barcelona falls. Within 7 years, Muslim forces reach the foothills of the Pyrenees and cross into what is now southern France. They are turned back at Tours in 732. The northward expansion ends there. But everything south of the Pyrenees is now part of the Umayyad Caliphate. Musa and Tariq are both recalled to Damascus. The Caliph Al-Walid has died. His successor, Suleiman, is suspicious of generals who have grown powerful in distant provinces. Both men are stripped of their commands. Musa dies in obscurity. The end of Tariq's life is not clearly recorded. The province they conquered will outlast them by centuries. Roderick is dead. The exact circumstances are unknown. His body is not recovered from the field at Guadalete. His widow, Egilona, eventually marries Musa's son, Abdelaziz, who is left to govern the conquered territory. That marriage ends in Abdelaziz's assassination in 716 by men sent from Damascus. Julian, the Count of Ceuta, who provided the ships, disappears from the record after the conquest. The sources do not agree on what happened to him. The Berber soldiers who crossed with Tariq do not return to Africa in the numbers they came. Many settle on the land. They are given holdings. They marry into the local population. Within 2 generations, the line between Arab and Berber and Iberian begins to blur into something new. The Visigothic aristocracy converts in large numbers. So does a significant portion of the general population. The conversion is not forced at the point of a sword in the broad sense. It is open through tax policy and access to administrative positions, and it accelerates over the following century. The Jewish community of the peninsula, which had suffered heavily under Visigothic rule, enters a period of protection and eventual flourishing that produces some of the most important Jewish scholarship of the medieval world. This is what the crossing at Gibraltar brought. Not just territory, a civilization. The conquest of Iberia is often described as sudden. It was not exactly. The Umayyad expansion that reached Gibraltar in 711 had been building for 80 years. From the death of the Prophet in 632, the Muslim armies had moved with extraordinary speed across territories that had been Roman, Byzantine, Sasanian, Visigothic. Each of those empires was older than the Muslim state that defeated it. Each was, in 632, the dominant power in its region. What the crossing at Gibraltar reveals is not the strength of the Umayyad army. The army at Guadalete was small. It reveals the fragility of the old order. The Visigothic kingdom did not fall because the Berbers were unstoppable. It fell because it was already coming apart. A succession crisis, a faction inside the army loyal to no one, a persecuted population indifferent to the survival of the men who ruled it. When Tariq landed at Gibraltar, he did not break a strong kingdom. He pushed on a door that was already failing. This is what happens in the 7th and 8th centuries again and again. The Muslim armies move into spaces where the old powers have hollowed out, and they build something new in the cavity left behind. What they built on the Iberian Peninsula lasted until 1492. At its height, Córdoba was the largest city in Europe, with paved streets, running water, and libraries that held hundreds of thousands of volumes, while most of the continent could not read. Al-Andalus produced Ibn Rushd, known to the Latin West as Averroes, whose commentaries on Aristotle fed directly into the European Renaissance. It produced hospitals, universities, and a standard of living the rest of Europe would not reach for 400 years. The civilization that began with 7,000 men at the foot of a mountain would, in the end, hand Europe back some of what Europe had forgotten. The mountain still stands at the entrance to the strait. The town built around its base carries the name in worn-down form. Gibraltar, Jabal Tariq, the mountain of a Berber commander who landed there in the spring of 711 and changed the course of European history in a single summer. The ships did not burn, but they did not need to.